Alrighty, how's it going everyone? It is Ethan, or Unknown Coder, as always, a senior software engineer out in the industry. The last couple episodes in live streams, we've been working on the modal or the drop down guy for the emojis. We're going to continue to work on that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get it buttoned up. We need to figure out the search. So I basically completely forgot that we even had a search bar. So we definitely need to do that. And what we were working on at the end of last stream is we were getting this set up. So basically what we have here is a text box and we can type in it, and then it actually gets overlaid with like a paragraph, because we want to actually, instead of displaying these emojis, we want to actually display the images. So we need to go ahead and write a function that does that. But the other thing is, as you can notice, we don't have a cursor here, and we definitely need to figure out how to get that cursor. I think I know how. If not, we need to figure that out, but I think that's gonna be the first thing that should be fairly easy to fix. And then after that, I want to go ahead and write a function to basically convert the emoji, the actual emoji text, into an image, and then put it inside of like a span probably, and kind of figure out how to do that. So let's go ahead and hop back into the code. So let's go into, I guess, our feed post creator CSS. So right now we should have like a transparent or hidden or something. Yeah, so we can see here we have background color transparent, color transparent. So what I want to go ahead and try to do is there's a caret color, and I want to try to go ahead and say caret color auto and see if this is going to fix this. I think because of the transparent background and transparent color, it might not be showing up. So this is hopefully the first one that's pretty easy to fix. So we type, okay, so unfortunately it's not going to be as easy as I had hoped. So what if we say caret color is black? Maybe auto ends up making it transparent or something. Okay, so yes, so now we do have a caret color. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be black, but we want to make sure we have that caret there. I think that looks a lot better. Hello. This is working now. The caret looks a little bit big, but maybe I'm just wrong. But yeah, so it looks pretty good. We can highlight, delete, everything's working the way it's supposed to that way. So now what we basically need to do is we need to make a function that more or less maps through, because even whenever we like change the color here, the skin tone, this still has a link to the actual emoji itself. The issue is that the way that we have it mapped right now is basically we have the actual emoji, and then we have the modifiers and so on and so forth. So basically what I'm thinking is we're going to just make a map with the emoji and then maybe, I don't know, the image or something. So basically just have emoji as the emoji and then the image, and we can map it. So let's go ahead and hop into our code and go into our emoji utils. What I'm thinking is maybe we go ahead and make a const that's called like mapped emojis and go from there. So let's go ahead and say exports. First, we need to make sure we export emoji underscore image map. Maybe it's gonna equal to emojis dot filter, and we're going to, or not filter, we want to map. And basically let's go ahead and map each emoji and do this. And actually let's just say emojis, so it equals to emojis.map each emoji. So basically we're going to loop through each emoji, and then what we want to go ahead and do is for each emoji we'll say if emoji dot images dot length is greater than 1. If there's more than one image, that means it has a modifier. Then what we want to do, this isn't going to work either, is it? We'll keep this as is, and this will actually equal to this for now. And let's go ahead and make a function that returns an array, and we'll just call whatever equal to that. We'll go ahead and just go, here's probably fine. Export function, so we can go ahead and hoist to the top, and we'll say map emojis with images, and then this won't take anything in, but this will return a array. So let's go ahead and just say interface, interface, I don't know what to call this, mapped emoji maybe. And this is literally just going to have an emoji, which is a string, and it's going to have an image, which is a string. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to say emojis dot for each emoji, and we're going to go ahead and say for each emoji we're going to do some work, and we're going to do some other loops and some stuff like that. And then here what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to say let mapped emojis equal to a new list. And let's also make sure that we return the mapped emoji array so it knows what to expect. And then we can also go ahead and make sure that this knows that this is going to be an array of mapped emojis. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to say this is equal to map emoji with images, and then that should work. I think I haven't done JavaScript in a bit other than just doing a little bit of React here and there, so hopefully that works. So now we have our mapped emojis. So basically what we can say is like if emoji dot is images dot length is equal to 1, so then we know more or less that we can just go ahead and say mapped emojis dot push, and then what we can go ahead and do is we can say that emoji is emoji dot emoji, and then the image emoji dot images and 0. So we know no matter what, there's only one image in there, so that means there's no modifiers we have to deal with, and we can just go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we're gonna have to go ahead and say like for, we'll say let I equal to 1, because we'll start out at the first one with the images. I will be less than images dot length, whoops, or emoji dot images dot length. And this will be interesting. Let's just do this because we need the index for the other one. For I equals 0, I is equal to emoji dot modifiers dot length, and this will probably be a little bit easier. So then we'll go ahead and say it will affect, that's obviously a downside, but that broken ball, so I guess he does have his upsides as well. Now we're going to push the emoji, will be emoji dot modifier, emoji dot modifiers 0, and then the image will be emoji dot images of I plus 1. So that should be that, and then we can return the mapped emojis. Oh, that's a string array, mapped emojis. Oh, okay, cool. Make sure that's like that. There we go. Okay, so now we should theoretically have our mapped emojis. We probably want a function now, so I guess I'm just gonna rename this to a TSX, and then we'll make a new export const, and we will convert string to paragraph or something. And then this will take in the content string, whoops, if I could type, and then this will return a JSX element, JSX dot element. All right, equal to this, make it an arrow function, and then we'll return a p tag like that, and it'll be fine. So now we need to basically loop through this and look for an emoji and then convert that emoji into the image. What we'll go ahead and do is this. So we need to loop through each content. So we'll say, do I want to say for, sure, for let I equal to 0. I is less than content dot length, and I plus plus is probably a more efficient way to do this. We'll go ahead and say if our dot find, and then we're gonna have e dot emoji is equal to content dot char at, whoops, dot char at I. So if that's the case, then we want to basically replace that. So I think what we want to do, or what I want to do, is convert this into an array. Let's say let characters equal to, and this will be array dot from, and then let's go ahead and pass in the content. Is that what? Yep, it's called content. And let's go ahead and just console.log this and return the p tag, and we can just go ahead and for now do this and pass the content. But let's go back into our feed post creator, and the value here instead of post content, let's actually call this convert post content to paragraph. And let's also, I guess, grab this class really quick and throw it on here. So now this is at least the same. Whoops, I forgot the class name though. Class name equal to that. Cool. And come in here and we can basically get rid of this p tag and delete that p tag, and we'll say, okay, is there a current post? Yes. Current post.content, otherwise it's just post content. We can just call this, I guess. So we'll just go ahead and say convert post content to paragraph. Okay, and I think that should be legal as long as, you know, we actually go ahead and import it. And we'll also need to do the same thing here, convert this and do that. And then here we'll keep it the same. It's fine, but this should output a paragraph tag and it should look more or less the same. This gets updated and it should also print out the data. So now we can basically loop through each of the characters, and then we're going to replace the character. We'll say for, I think we do want a regular for loop because I think we need to know the index. So I is less than characters.length. And I plus plus, we want the index of this. So let's go ahead and get the index. What we're gonna go ahead and do is say like emojis image map dot find. So if our emoji image map dot find, and we'll say e for emoji, we're gonna say e dot emoji is equal to our characters of I. So if this is the case, then what we're gonna go and do is, first off, let's go ahead and make the span. So let's say let span equal to document. What if we really get crazy? Dot can we create element? Create element, and it's a span. Right, what if we do that and then we say span dot, and then we need the style. Can we say span dot style dot, and then we can set a couple things like so first we need background image, and background image will equal to, so we'll say URL like this, and actually we'll use a backtick because we're smarter than that, and we'll close this off, and then this is going to be $ curly brace. I guess we can go ahead and say, right, we can go emoji underscore image map dot find. I'm guessing this returns the element. What we can say is we'll do the same thing, find this, and then we will say dot image. So we got the background color or the background image, and then we should probably go ahead and set a class on this that has a similar class to emoji dropdown where we have height, width, and yada yada yada. So maybe we also go ahead and say set attribute. So span dot set attribute, and we're gonna set class to, we're gonna set class to, so I guess we'll say feed post creator, and then we'll say post content emoji. And then let's go ahead and set this up really quick. So dot feed post creator content emoji, come in here, and we have our content. So let's just throw it here, and I'm more or less just going to copy this. The height and width, I'm going to say like, let's go 20 by 20, and then if that's too big, we can always change it. So yeah, so basically what we're going to have is a span that has a background image, and we're doing that. So then now we want to go ahead and like splice this. I think technically we could just go ahead and say, although it might be okay, characters I is equal to, because we want everything else to be the same, so I don't know if we necessarily need to splice it. So I'm going to try to not splice it. We're going to say any, and it's going to get mad at us because it's type any, but it's fine. Now this is a part that I don't think it's going to work. Yep. Okay. So it does not like that. We're going to have to basically map this into a paragraph and return that paragraph. After we've done all this converting, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll say let paragraph equal to, let's say documents dot create element, and we'll create a div. and we'll see if this wants to work. And we'll say paragraph dot, and we'll say set attributes. We'll set the class, whoops. We'll set the class, and we might need to have class name to feed dash post creator post content, right? And then we basically need to say like for let char and I guess it's of and then characters. So for each character, maybe we say paragraph dot inner HTML is equal to paragraph dot inner HTML plus char. Don't know if that's going to work. The other thing I'm concerned about is we're returning a JSX element. This isn't a JSX element. So I might need to look into how to like create a custom JSX element. That's not the right word, but do something similar to that. This should be a p tag. So another option is creating this paragraph up here, setting this attribute, copy this. Right. As we're going through this, we could say paragraph dot inner HTML is equal to paragraph dot inner HTML plus characters of I, right? And then if it happens to be this, actually I want this to be an if else because I don't want this happening every time. Otherwise, if it's not an emoji, we'll do that. If it is an emoji, what I'm thinking is maybe we, instead of changing the character, we take the span, we say paragraph dot, there should be an add child or a pin child, and we can append the span. Technically speaking, I could do something really ugly like this, where it's an actual string, because the inner HTML, it just wants a string. So I could technically say like const span template is equal to this, and I could technically say span class name equal to, and then feed post creator emoji this, and then style equal to, and then we say background image $sign curly brace. I guess we'd have to put it inside there, which is kind of gross. We'd have to do this. This is really gross, but we have to do something like this. We have, instead of just saying our document span, we do this. And then what we do is this background image would be our emoji image map dot find, and then we say e like this, e dot emoji is equal to characters of I, and then maybe we say like, we'll say let image equal to this, and maybe we do question mark this, otherwise empty or something. Does not like that though because I missed this. So basically, what did I miss? This looks fine. Let image equal to this. There. So if we find the image, we'll go ahead and set it to that. Otherwise, we'll set it to an empty string, and then that should hopefully mitigate some issues. We'll see if it does. So now we have URL like this, $sign curly brace, and then we have our image. Then we need to close the span. So I think it should go there, and then span, and hopefully this looks good. And then maybe we console.log our span template. And let's see what this looks like, I guess. And we're gonna get rid of this else because that broke everything. In the paragraph, we're gonna get rid of as well. I just want to see what the span template looks like. And if we come in here, let's refresh. Hopefully this makes the span hello, and we do this, and it makes the span template that has the URLs object. Of course it is. What if we did this? Oh, if we did it like that instead. Oh, you know what? We need .image. Yeah, so now we have the span, because basically what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go ahead, and now that the template's there, I'm going to go ahead and say characters of I once again is equal to span template. First, let's see if we can even return this paragraph. I have a feeling that this is not going to work. Yeah. Let content equal to an empty string, and then we'll say updated content equal to an empty string, and then we want to say for let I of characters, and we say updated content dot push. We didn't have to do it this way, whatever. Updated content is equal to updated content plus, and then characters, I guess it'll just be I, right? So we return the p tag like we had before. I don't know why I didn't think about this. Class name equal to, and this can be any data you want. So class name again equal to this feed post creator content. Let's get rid of this paragraph, and then we could say inside here we'll say dangerously set inner HTML, and we have to do this weird syntax. I've only used this like a couple other times. HTML colon, and this will be updated content. So let's try an image. So I have img, and we'll have to set some things, and we can get rid of this, do that, and src is equal to, we'll do that, $ curly brace image. Whoops. So let's see if we can get an image tag working. Okay, that's a lot better. Obviously it's way too big, so height 20 is too big. Let's say 10 by 10. We're gonna have to deal with some stuff here. Width equal to 10. I didn't think we had to set it like this. Height equal to 10, but maybe we do have to set it like that. Yeah, okay, I guess we do. Shows how much I know about HTML. 20 looks good. This is a little bit off. Delete it. Hello. Put an emoji. How are we doing? So it's a little bit weird. We might need it a little bit smaller. So let's say like maybe 18 by 18. I think the spacing is slightly off. And I guess we could check what the spacing looks like by doing, and it could also be we need to like come in here as well and set like margin 0 and like padding 0 and just a couple little things like that, and maybe that's doing some weird stuff. So see how it's like not really where we want it at. So maybe I do go ahead and bump the size back up to 20 by 20, and it looks like we might have a winner here. It's taken me way longer than I wanted it to get to this point. I don't know how much you guys are going to see of this. So now it's still a little bit off, and what I'm saying we could do is we can come into here and we can get rid of the transparent color, and we'll be able to see the color for a second and kind of see how this looks. So this is going to look really scuffed. So you see, it looks like maybe we need more margin. I can't tell which one's which. This one is obviously the bigger one, but it looks like it's pushed over a little bit. Like we need margin on the left. So like it looks like we need like margin left like 1 px, maybe a little bit more, 2 px. And I don't know if this is actually doing anything. 2 px. I don't think it's doing anything. It might not like the dangerously set HTML. And to that, fair enough. Fair enough for not liking it. I get it. The next question is, do we map through this and create a paragraph tag for each section, and then whenever we run out of content, because right now basically there should be extra space, but it's not. It's acting kind of funky. So here's the next question. We have a span template already. We could be like, let current sentence or something, right, equal to an empty string. At the top of this, we could also create a paragraph, and what we could say is like, okay, we have let p equal to paragraph p paragraph. I don't know what the class name would be. We'd have to deal with the class name. And basically what we do is let's just close this paragraph, and then $ curly brace, and we can have current sentence, set the current sentence, set that paragraph. We could get the image right, and then what we could do is, how do we want to do this? Let current HTML, current inner HTML equal to, we can just have that be like that, and then basically we'll have an else, and anytime it's else, we'll say current sentence is equal to current sentence plus characters of I. So we'll get the characters, otherwise we'll create a p tag, we'll create an image tag, and then what we'll do is we'll say current inner HTML is equal to current inner HTML plus our p plus our image, and then we'll also go ahead and say current sentence is equal to an empty string, and start over and start creating the sentence again. And then here, for the time being, I'm just gonna do what I was doing before, where I will just return, well, you can keep that, I guess. We'll get rid of this for the time being. Okay, doesn't like that, whatever. We'll just delete it, and we'll have our content here. Yeah, content. So it'll go back kind of the way it was before. I want to console.log our current inner HTML, and we'll get rid of that. Whoops. Because we're going to need the current sentence no matter what. So what we could do is we could say current inner HTML is equal to current sentence. This might be weird. The other thing I'm kind of thinking here is we could do like an array, which is kind of funky, that we reset the middle section of the array. So like we could do something like, we can keep the let current inner HTML, let current p tag or something equal to an array, and we want this to be like p comma empty space comma p, like that. And then what we could do, anytime the characters get updated and it's just a sentence, we want to do current sentence. I guess instead of current sentence, we'll say current p tag, and then 1 is equal to current p tag of 1, and we'll append the characters dot char at I, and then we'll also go ahead and say this might also need, like current inner HTML might also need to be an array, which is a little bit strange, but hear me out here. So we have this guy. So now what we do is here we can say let inner HTML index equal to 0. And then what we can say is inner HTML or current inner HTML of inner HTML index is equal to, and we'll go ahead and say current p tag 0 plus current p tag 1 plus current p tag 2. And then what we'll do is, so that'll update the p tag all the time. Here, if we get an emoji, we'll go ahead and say inner HTML index plus plus. So then it'll only count up each time we get an emoji. And then what we'll go ahead and do is we can also do like the resetting. So we can also go ahead and say current p tag of 1 is equal to an empty space again. So then we'll restart. And then we have our span template, which just should actually be an image template now. So image template, and our image template has that. So then we can say like current inner HTML of inner HTML index is equal to our image template. And then let's just console.log our current inner HTML to see if we have the array like we want. This is not a string. That should be I. Oh, you know what? We might have to do like this. And then basically what we need to do is map this into one string and then inject that, I think. So then we can finally say const dangerous HTML is equal to, and a string, I guess, and then for let element of current inner HTML dangerous HTML plus equals element. So we'll say we have our dangerous HTML, and then here instead of this content we'll say dangerously set inner HTML, and then we have underscore HTML, and then this will be dangerous HTML. So it looks like trash, but what we need to do now is we need to add a class to it, and we need to make it inline and all of that stuff. Let's see here. So we have our feed post creator content, and we probably could have done spans here, and this might make it a little bit better if we make this a span, and we can, obviously we'll go through and make it look nicer. We make it a span should be inline. So hello space this guy space hello. So now theoretically this should be more susceptible to like styling wise, because if you look at the dangerously set inner HTML, now we come back in here and we say hello moto, and we add a space here and come back into our elements. Here we have this content and we have a span, in the image we have a span. The thing is the span margin right still doesn't seem to be working. 20 20. So right now we have a margin left of 5. What if we say like not 190? What if we say like 10? Except I think we want margin right. What if we add margin left and right of 10px? This might be getting a little bit crazy here. Let's get rid of the style, because this could be overriding with the way that this works. Just making sure I'm not deleting too much here. Oh wait, you know what? I did not actually change it in here. I just changed class. That's what's going on. So change this back to 20. Change that back to 20. Let's put our margin 0 on. Our padding 0. I didn't change it correctly. So now we can start tweaking this. So if we say 5, what does 5 look like? 5 is pretty darn close. We're not going to get it perfect, and we're going to want some padding on the right as well. We want padding right, or not padding right, margin right, like 2px or something. Something small. Whoops. And I scuffed it. So like, if we say like padding 0 and margin 0, whoops, margin 0, and then padding left 1px or something. That might line it up a little bit better even, except now it's scuffed a little bit. So it looks like we need padding on the top and it still needs to come over a little bit. So let's line it up. So 2 on the span. So class equal to, and then like feed post creator content content paragraph or something. And then we're going to set, what we can do is come in here and we have the content. What I'm thinking is we do this and then we take the font size. Whoops, take the font size. Maybe, can I type? Thank you. And the font weight. We might need the Z index. Well, I don't think we will. But then we can do that, and this should hopefully fix the font size and font weight. And that lines up pretty darn well up and down. Obviously, this needs like some padding on the top or something. And it's because it's an absolute position, probably. So if we change the position, it might be a little bit better. So the emoji, maybe this is like 3, and maybe it's actually 4. Again, I'm just tweaking. So now this needs to be like, what if we put like 4? So that might be about right. And then what we could do is, I think on this guy, we're going to say padding top 10px or something. And this might be one where you're not going to get a perfect. It's just going to be what it is. So I think that's about as perfect as we're going to get. I think that looks pretty darn good. So now what we do is we go ahead and hide this again. Let's see. We go color transparent. Save that. And hello. This is looking pretty darn good. I mean, that's what it looks like on Twitter. Now, we did have this issue where we do this. We click on this, it says undefined. Now, that's obviously an issue. So what we might want to do there is just do a quick check. And I didn't get what I wanted done today, unfortunately. It is what it is. So if we hit this emoji, it's going to have, it never checked it, basically. So maybe we might do a check, like if the inner HTML index of 0 is equal to, it might be undefined, I'm not sure. I mean, it's gotta be undefined, right? It should be inner HTML. If this is the case, then we want current, whoops. Current inner HTML, and I love when you do that, is equal to undefined. Current inner HTML of inner HTML index is equal to, and we'll say current p tag. Whoops, current p tag. And this should only happen like once after this. Although it's, oh no, but we do this. So we want this to be current p tag 0 plus current p tag 1 plus current p tag 3 or 2. That might be the issue. It might be confusion. Yeah, and we can say like hello. And we can have another one. This is looking pretty good to me. I think that's gonna probably do it. Let's do some cleanup. This is probably gonna be a little bit of a shorter episode, all in all, just because basically we just worked on this function right here, but it's already 10:45. I don't really have much more to work on or much more time. Unfortunately, things keep being pushed back and back and back. Next episode, we're definitely going to try to get the fuzzy search done. That should just be basically searching by name. So we have to do another map where, or I guess you won't have to do a map. We can just use the one that we already have because it's already by name. Something I didn't check is, does this work? So we changed it to this. But yeah, and then the last thing, I'm not sure how the post is going to work or look. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't work, so I'm not going to test it right now. So that's something I want to test early on. And finally, there's one other thing I wanted to do. It might just be the search, I guess. We can mess with the recent. So right now, obviously, it doesn't go anywhere because it's empty. But what I'd like to do is recent. I'll probably make like a local storage instance where it has the last, like, I don't know how many, 9. I'll just do like one row, the last 9, and do like a method check or a function check to see, hey, has it already been used, move it up or down the list, and do it that way. So that'll be probably pretty easy to do as well. And yeah, I think after that, I want to look into, I wanted to do the feed post, or the post feed, but you have to be following someone to see their post. So we need to be able to follow someone, and the way you're going to be able to find someone to follow is going to be through the search. So we need to kind of probably set up the side search bar, because Twitter has like it has like a search up here, and then has some other stuff like who to follow. I don't know how we're going to do what's happening, probably won't be able to do. So I want to be able to search for a user, basically, and then follow said user, and then see said user's post on the screen. So that's going to be the order. And then after we can follow someone and see their post, like when we refresh, then we're going to go ahead and work on the notifications. I need to make a decision what I want to do for the notifications. I have a couple of options. One option is to use Kafka, and we are going to have to use like WebSockets, but we could either use Kafka and make a message stream that another part of my application consumes, and then more or less sends a message across a WebSocket. Or we could try something else. We could just, set up WebSockets and do it that way. I think that's also a valid way. I have a couple of examples I built to work on it. It's just been a while since we messed with this, but I think that's going to be it. This ended up being a little bit more complicated than I expected, but everything looks good now. You can highlight, you can delete it all. Looks good. And then we also, of course, want to be able to open and close this. But that's going to be it. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for watching the video after the fact. Thanks everyone for the likes, the comments, everything else. And I'll see you guys in the next episode or live stream of Let's Build Twitter. Have a nice night, everyone.